Pump the brakes, Romeo. So you've got baby fever, huh? You see those adorable husky puppies with their piercing blue eyes and think, I need a dozen mini-me's running around. Hold your horses, cowboy. Breeding dogs is a big responsibility, not just some puppy-making free-for-all. Before you even think about letting your huskies get frisky, let's talk about responsible breeding. We're talking about bringing new lives into the world, and that's serious business. First things first, are you ready for the commitment? Puppies are cute, but they're also a 24/7 job. We're talking sleepless nights, potty training disasters, and enough chewed-up furniture to make you cry. And let's not forget the vet bills. Oh boy, the vet bills. Are you financially prepared to handle all of that? Next up, think about the dog population. There are already tons of pups out there looking for their forever homes. Do you have a plan for finding responsible and loving families for all those husky babies? Adopting and rescuing should always be the first option. Breeding should be about preserving and bettering the breed, not just adding to the overpopulation problem. So before you go playing Cupid, ask yourself, am I truly ready for this? If the answer is a resounding yes and you're prepared to handle the responsibility, then and only then can we move on to the birds and the bees, or in this case, the huskies. Alright, Romeo, you've done your homework, and you're sure you're ready for the puppy party. But hold on a minute, Casanova, your leading lady might not be on the same page. Just like humans, female huskies have a biological clock, and it's not always ticking in sync with yours. First and foremost, your girl needs to be of age. We're not talking about a dog park prom queen here. Your husky lady should be at least 2 years old and have gone through at least 2 heat cycles. Think of it like this. The first heat cycle is like her teenage rebellion phase. Messy, confusing, and definitely not the time to be creating little rebels of her own. It's during her second heat cycle that her body is mature enough to handle pregnancy and motherhood. Now, how do you know when your girl is in heat? Well, she might start acting a little different. Think mood swings, clinginess, and maybe even a little diva attitude. Physically, you'll notice swelling in her vulva and some bloody discharge. Don't worry, it's all natural, but it's a clear sign that Aunt Flo has come to town. The heat cycle lasts about 3 weeks, but your girl is only fertile for a small window within that time. This is where timing is everything. We'll get into the specifics of the mating game later, but for now, just remember that your girl needs to be physically and emotionally ready for the main event. Alright guys, it's your turn. Just because you're always ready to go doesn't mean you're actually equipped for fatherhood. Male husky readiness is about more than just hitting puberty and thinking you're the dog park Don Juan. First off, your boy needs to be at least 6 months old. That's the magic age when most male huskies hit puberty and start producing sperm like tiny furry factories. But just because he can, doesn't mean he should. Think of it like this. Just because you have a driver's license doesn't mean you're ready for the Indy 500. Your boy needs to be physically mature, in good health, and free of any genetic conditions that could be passed down to his offspring. Take him for a checkup with your vet. They'll give him a clean bill of health and make sure he's up to date on all his vaccinations. This is also a good time to discuss any concerns you have about breeding and get their expert advice. Remember, breeding isn't just about passing on those good looks, it's about creating healthy and happy puppies. So before you let your boy unleash his inner stud, make sure he's truly ready for the responsibility that comes with fatherhood. Section 4. The dating game. Setting the mood for husky romance. Okay lovebirds, you've made it this far. Your female is of age, your male is ready to rumble, and you're both on board with the breeding plan. Now it's time to set the mood for some husky romance. But before you go dimming the lights and putting on Barry White, let's talk strategy. Timing, my friends, is everything when it comes to canine courtship. As we mentioned earlier, your female husky is only fertile for a short window during her heat cycle. This fertile period typically starts around 10 to 14 days after the bleeding begins and lasts for about a week. Now, you're not going to need to whip out a calendar and start counting down the days, although hey, no judgment if you do. Your girl's body will give you some pretty clear signs when she's ready for action. Her vulva will become even more swollen, and the discharge will become lighter in color and more watery. This is when she'll start sending out those come hither signals to your male. You'll see a lot of tail wagging, playful bowing, and some serious flirting going on. This is their way of saying, hey you, let's make some puppies. So, you think your husky might have a bun in the oven? Let's talk about confirming pregnancy, husky style. First things first, you'll want to keep an eye out for some early signs. About 3 weeks in, you might notice your female becoming more affectionate, or maybe even a bit moody. Around this time, her appetite might increase and she could start showing some morning sickness. Yes, dogs can get that too. At around 4 to 5 weeks, a vet can perform an ultrasound to confirm the pregnancy. This is usually the most reliable method. By the 6th week, you might even be able to feel the little puppies moving around. And by this point, her belly will start to show, and there's no mistaking it. Puppies are on the way. Alright, now that we know puppies are on the way, let's talk about caring for your expectant husky mama. First off, nutrition is key. Make sure she's getting a high-quality, well-balanced diet. You might need to increase her food intake as her pregnancy progresses, but be careful not to overfeed her. Regular vet checkups are a must to ensure both mama and the puppies are healthy. Gentle exercise is also important, but avoid any strenuous activities. Create a comfortable nesting area where she can rest and eventually give birth. This should be a quiet, warm, and safe space. And of course, shower her with lots of love and attention. She's going to need all the support she can get during this exciting time. Last but certainly not least, let's discuss responsible breeding and saying no to puppy mills. Breeding should always be done with the health and well-being of the dogs in mind. It's not just about making cute puppies, it's about ensuring they have a good start in life. Avoid puppy mills at all costs. These places often prioritize profit over the welfare of the dogs, leading to poor living conditions and unhealthy puppies. Always choose to work with reputable breeders who follow ethical practices. And remember, there are many wonderful dogs in shelters looking for homes, so consider adoption as well. Responsible breeding is about making thoughtful, compassionate choices for the betterment of the breed and the individual dogs.